Making his way to the cage, Brett Maverick Wittman. And his opponent, the Iron Hammer, Ryan Stevens.
We have another strap on the line, this one at 185 pounds. There's your tail of the tape, and here is Ken Bostetter.
Middleweight amateur title. Let's get loud! 3 3-minute rounds brought to you by Wanakee Lawn and Landscape. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He's fighting out of Kimberly, Wisconsin, representing Fox Valley Elite, Brett Maverick Wittman. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, fighting out of Madison, Wisconsin, representing the Blast, Muay Thai, the Iron Hammer, Ryan Stevens.
Ryan Stevens and Brett Wittman ready to go. Rich Reynolds, Joe Miller here with you, cage side for this 185 185-pound title fight, our second AMI title of the night. If it's as good as the first one, we're in for a treat.
I can tell you, these guys have their credentials, Rich. Two of the top 60 amateur fighters in the country. Wittman currently ranked 20. Stevens, 57, both decorated wrestling careers at Neenah and Kimberly, two great Wisconsin programs. Wittman spent some time at Division I Clarion in Pennsylvania. Shout out to my alma mater, the Edinburgh Fighting Scots, in that same conference.
There you go.
But, these guys are legit, man. This is going to be these are pro-worthy fighters that probably are just at the precipice of turning pro, and this probably catapults one of these careers, or maybe both.
Both guys coming in with 4 wins under their belt. Usually that 5th one is the one that's going to get you to go pro and convince you that, hey, you might have the goods to go ahead and make a name for yourself right there. As early on, it is Stevens right now on top of Wittman, and Wittman with the reversal.
And I tell you what, talk about royalty we had mentioned in the corners somewhere tonight. Brett Wittman's got a pretty good one. The winner of our last main event here at CFFC 26, that's Keegan Genrich, his corner and training partner out of Fox Valley Elite. Genrich was our winner of the main event here back in January.
Good call out. Yeah, I saw him earlier on tonight. As right now, both guys on the mat. And on top right now is Brett Wittman.
You were talking about, Rich, the upstart of the MMA in the Fox Valley. It's no coincidence that it's one of the real cradles of wrestling, high school amateur wrestling in Wisconsin. About 8 or 10 of the top programs are right in the Bay Area, right in the Fox Valley. A lot of them obviously are migrating to MMA once they finish up high school and or college. So I would circle Fox Valley Elite. They're a newer club. They're an upstart from a wrestling club. We're one of the better wrestling clubs in the state. They branched out to MMA, and they already got a couple of big fighters in Genrich and Wittman here.
Yeah, around here in the Madison area, we're used to hearing the Stoutons and Middletons and Miltons of the area that have long brandished the, banner for excellent wrestling around here. So, yeah, in other parts of the state, hey, that's where it's going to come from.
And we're going to see it in our co-main event, Trey Lee on a Kaukauna, one of the best wrestling programs, not only in Wisconsin, in the country. And I was talking to some of the wrestling fans. They have 5 tables strong of Galloping Ghosts. One of the great nicknames, by the way, all-time, Kaukauna, Galloping Ghost. But we'll save Trey's flowers for later. Right now, we got a heck of an amateur title fight here.
They make some good spread cheese, too, to put on crackers up there in Kaukauna. Yeah, gotta love it. Right now, again, it is Wittman on top of Stevens. And Wittman getting a couple of blows in right now. Not a lot of blows being exchanged right here. Both guys just trying to jockey for position. It's been Wittman who has been mostly in control.
And normally, Rich, when you hear the term paper champion, that's not a good thing. Whoever wins this will truly be the paper champion. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, because it's Kimberly versus Neenah. Paper country up there, baby. The new definition of paper champion tonight.
Love it. It definitely used to be. Man, you'd drive all the way to Green Bay and you'd pass by many
their nicknames are the paper makers, for God's sakes.
Absolutely. Round 1 comes to a close. We'll be back with round 2 right after this on TW. Action from the first round, and not a lot of scoring as far as blows go, but you do see Brett Wittman, who was in control most of that first round on the mat, and he does land some shots right here.
Well, this is going to be a wrestling match. We highlighted, Rich, these guys are both very talented, decorated amateur wrestlers. You said it earlier, the difference in this match, who can strike, who can dominate from the feet, knees, kicks, punches, because they can both wrestle on the mat. They don't want to have a 6-minute wrestling match. They've both been there, done that. The wild card's going to be who's better on their feet.
Brett Wittman ready to go as you take a good look at him as he is set. And round 2 beginning right here. A good left by Wittman into the face of Stevens. And now right away going for the takedown. These guys don't spend a lot of time up on their feet trying to strike.
Now they both want to be on the mat. And I guess if you look at that, who has the better takedown game, who's got better offense, or who wants to roll the dice and start throwing haymakers up there?
And they're actually like Stevens, I think, needs to do more of that. Take that right arm and land some blows into the side. If you're going to go down anyways, and it was almost a fait accompli that he was going to, he might as well have scored with some right hands to the side of Wittman. Wittman with another takedown here in the second round.
Yeah, Wittman wrestled 184 and 197 in college. I think the weigh-in here was 85, so I don't know if he was wrestling up or making a big cut here, but he's a stout 185 here. Well, both these guys are, but certainly Wittman wrestling in college at a full 10, 12 pounds lower than he weighed in here tonight, Rich.
Yeah, absolutely. Both guys coming in really good shape, as you were talking about. And, yeah, sometimes you don't know. Are they fighting up, fighting down? It does make a difference, and it does make a difference usually in the energy level. But
the cut makes a huge difference,
yeah.
I mean, some of these guys drop 20 pounds of water in 2 days. Some of them diet down. I mean, there's different ways to get there, but everyone has their own system.
Both guys look to be in really tip-top shape for this championship bout, as Stevens able to get back up on his feet, at least temporarily, and trying to stay there, as Wittman trying to drive him into the side of the cage and back down on the mat.
Yeah, back to that weight cutting thing. I may have had to pay rent in a few saunas during my career because it is. I got some stories for the main event, but yeah, the sauna is your best friend, which you're a boxer, wrestler, MMA guy. That last cut, you get the last 5-6 pounds of water.
I've seen it at weigh-ins where guys couldn't weigh in. They're given an hour, then they come back 3 pounds lighter.
Yep.
And what they're doing is just basically getting rid of the water out of their bodies. Get pretty dehydrated. They'll come in the next day about 12 pounds heavier than how they weighed in. Just fine. You just got to make it for the weigh-in. Both of these guys
Wittman's won
came
the
in
wrestling match, Rich. How much is that impressing the judges, as we talked about tonight, is a single leg takedown in 2 minutes of mount, enough to win a 10-9 round. That's what the judges have to determine here.
Control is one thing, damage is another. They're looking for damage, and right now neither fighter really has been able to exact a whole lot of it. Definite control from Wittman, but is he winning over the judges by also getting some damage in? If Stevens could get some shots in, he could steal around. The thing is, though, he's not doing any damage either, and he's not going to get a lot done on his back. So we will go to the third round next on TW. Good. Not a lot of action in our first 2 rounds, as both guys seemingly jockeying for position. It has been Brett Wittman, though, that has been mostly on top and in control.
Yeah, it's been a wrestling match. These guys know each other. They grew up in the same area. They train in the same area in that Fox Valley. And, it's just going to be, at this point, you'd say slight advantage Wittman. But as you said, Rich, he's not doing a lot of damage. I mean, he's got a couple of nice takedowns, but hasn't really done anything with it. And on the flip side, you got to just get something going right now if you're Ryan Stevens.
Stevens trying to do some damage here with a combo. And I tell you what, Wittman's just having none of it. He's just taking it right to the mat. And talking with one of the judges in between the rounds here. He's not too happy about it either. I mean, the crowd doesn't get happy about it. They want to see some damage as well. They came here for a fight.
Right, and that's the fine line as a former wrestler. Right? You want to fall into that crutch because you can take him down, but this isn't wrestling. There's style points. There's, winning the crowd. It's Maximus, right? You win the crowd. It's like.
That's true.
I can take a guy down with a single leg all night long, but what am I going to do after that? And that's the real, tightrope you got to walk as the wrestling background coming into the cage.
Especially if you want to go pro and you want to get paid and all of that. I mean, you are going to have to win that crowd over. You are going to have to get some knockouts and some finishes. And finishes by knockout usually even more exciting than some of the finishes by choke. So we'll see now if Wittman can do some damage here. There's a knee.
More of
there
that,
you go.
Yeah.
So that's
maybe some
that's
hammer
some damage.
fist right there. I mean, you want to get more physical on top right now if you're Wittman.
There's another knee into the side of Stevens. So Wittman scoring a few points and probably winning over some of the judges here in round number 3. But it's been a tough go for Wittman to get any real damage done. It's been almost impossible for Stevens to even get his arms free.
Yeah. I mean, you criticize Wittman. On the flip side, Stevens has had literally zero offense. So, you know, the knife cuts both ways in this fight.
Stevens, I mean, just can't even get that left arm free. And right now is just eating some knees from Wittman. And Wittman will take the back, and Stevens is in trouble.
And that's what you want to do, right? You got mount position here. You've got the wrestling background. Now you mix the wrestling with the MMA, and you probably salt this fight away.
You need some hammer throws in there, and he got a right hand in on Stevens. As the corner's starting to get excited for Wittman here, they're sensing that he can end this fight right now. Looking to get that left arm free. Yeah, he can't do it, so he just starts using the right arm to hit Stevens.
I'm just arching the back if I'm Wittman, keeping the pressure on, and then I'm just punching, and I'm dropping anything I can, positive blows for the rest of this fight.
And now possibly in a position to do some ground and pound. Stevens, though, will flip back over to defend from that, but Stevens really has not mounted an offensive charge at all in this fight, and now is in danger of getting choked out. I don't think it's underneath the chin of Stevens there. So Stevens really just could not get anything going in this fight at all, and Wittman looking to put the finishing touches on what should be a championship performance.
Yeah, that was 9 minutes of just complete control by Wittman. Little showmanship there at the end. But
yeah, waving the crowd to make some noise here. Crowd usually likes a little bit more striking, a little bit more damage, but they do appreciate a dominant performance, and that is what Brett Wittman has turned in. We'll be back for the decision in this title fight as we roll on here from Monona Terrace on TW.
I thought he was like flailing his arms. Oh, that's what it was.
All right, replays here from the third round. And again, that's basically what we saw the whole fight, and that was Brett Wittman in control.
Yeah, it was just rinse, repeat. Wittman, the Division I college wrestler. Both these guys have a wrestling background. Wittman's a little more decorated. He just leaned on his wrestling. Didn't really see it till the third round, but in the third round, Richie really laid into it. Throwing some big hits, getting mount, trying to get the rear naked choke. If he does that, this guy's going to be real tough to beat going forward. If he fights that third round like he does going forward.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for these two fighters. After 3 hard-fought rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All the judges score this contest 30-27 for your winner and new middleweight 185-pound champion, Brett Maverick Wittman.
One of the easier fights to score tonight. Pure dominance from Brett Wittman, who has just won himself an amateur title at 195, and now he chats with Ken.
You put your wrestling on display tonight.
As always, as everybody should, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He gives me the ability to do this every day, gives me the energy, gives me the strength, and I just want to say thank you to him.
You know, it seemed like from the get-go, you had control, and you never relinquished that control through the whole fight.
I've been in the room with wrestling, MMA, with the best people in the world. When you have an LFA champion, a UFC fighter, and your own father in your corner, it's hard to not lose confidence.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's, obviously you've been doing this since you were a very young boy. Having a dad working with you like that, and then you got UFC Dante Johnson in your corner. Doesn't get much better than that.
It does not get better than that.
Well, what's your plans for your upcoming future?
I gotta get paid next time. I gotta get paid.
So you're telling me you want to go pro?
Hey, why not?
Why not? Well, I hope I get to announce you again.
Absolutely.
All right, sir. Nice job. The Maverick, Brett Wittman.
Hey, Brett Whitman's right. If you're going to get beat up, you're going to trade blows, if you're going to feel like you've been pounded on the next day, you might as well get some money for it. It's just that simple. So Joe and I will be back. Got some pro fights coming up right here on TW.